Oh, look. It seems like
Wait,
it's
are we on
working.
now? Oh no.
Well, I don't know. It says preparing to stream to the
Uh-uh.
meeting, setting up meeting for custom streaming service. Done. Redirect to streaming page. Okay, so something's loading.
How do I know to do this when you're not here?
All right, this looks good. It says we're online on YouTube, Facebook. It seems to be working. So
okay. So how can I see people's comments? Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Yes, if you are here and can hear us, please comment in whatever chat you're working with.
This is Toby, by the way. He's here all the way from Germany to produce the real good summit that we're going to start.
The real good summit, the Truth About Weight Loss Summit.
Hello from Santa Rosa, you lucky person living in Santa Rosa. Hi, Aaron, and
loud
so
and
fast.
Clear. That's awesome.
Thanks. I want to say hi to you guys. Hi, Zena. Hi, Heather. Heather, my buddy. It goes so fast though. So how am I going to see the questions?
Well, there's obviously, you just got to scroll up or down and try to keep up.
Try to keep up. Love so live, you authentic, up. Showing you how you really do Zoom. Yeah. Hey, from Pittsburgh, do you know my family? They all live in Pittsburgh. So I just look on this screen. I'm not actually looking at myself, right?
No, I wouldn't look at you. Like, okay. You want to look at the comments.
I just want to see what I look like, though. I can't even see myself, so I just assume I'm there. Okay.
Yes, you're there.
All right, let me fix my hair, guys, before I start.
Today we got the same haircut.
I know. We've been working all day. That's why I'm in my chef coat. I'll tell you what I've been up to. All right, I guess I don't need to see myself. So where were these comments again? Right here? Nope. Oh, they were right here. Okay, so hello, hello, hello. Okay, I'll cover myself up. I'm not looking at myself anymore. Okay, hi, this is my monthly live Q&A that I've been doing for, I think, a few months now through a technology called Restream, where it goes to my Ultimate Weight Loss Facebook page, it goes to the Feel Fabulous Over 40 Facebook page, the Ultimate Weight Loss Mastery page, my Chef AJ page, and YouTube, because you can only pick 5, so I picked you guys. So I've got some questions here that have been submitted, and then if there's time, or if you want to hang out with me, I'll answer your questions live as well. But the first thing I want to do is tell you why I'm wearing a chef coat. I am a chef, but I don't do too much chefing anymore, at least not professionally. So every year, this is the second year, we do what's called the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. And Toby is my partner. He lives in Germany. He's German, and he does all the hard stuff. Well, I mean, not my job is so fun because I get to find the speakers and interview them. And he does all the nuts and bolts and the websites and the tech. Oh, thanks, Kay. She loves the pear whip recipe. That's a good recipe. And so one of the things we started doing last year is Forks Over Knives has just been wonderfully supportive of us. Hi, Jeanette, C in Florida, sending out the summit and get people to sign up. And I hope you'll sign up because, yeah, let me give you the link right now, because we start at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So sign up, guys. It's absolutely free. I've been devouring your videos with Dr. Lyle. The info is so free and it's so true. Hopefully you're in Feel Fabulous because he's got 8 brand new lectures there. Anyway, so 10 o'clock tomorrow, we start the summit and it's going to be amazing. So why am I wearing a chef coat? So with Forks Over Knives, they are a contributor to our prizes. And so we have these prizes that we give out every single day of the summit live. You have to be listening live to get a prize. And I think we have over 100 prizes this year. And for the prizes are the annual Forks Over Knives meal plan. And it's a tool that I have and I use. I mean, I eat very simply, but if I'm going to do a recipe, I do one of their recipes. So last year I did 7 recipes in 30 minutes and I did 7 today, probably in 20 minutes. That's after all the mise en place was done. That's the part where you shop and you chop and have everything ready. So that's why it was delicious, by the way. So I came from there to here. Oh, Jana loves Forks Over Knives. Hawaii, my favorite place. So please sign up for the summit. Every now and then I'll just keep putting a link here so that you can sign up. It's free for 9 days. We have 34 speakers for over the next, actually 35 speakers over the next 9 days, 33 lectures. There's a couple of people that buddied up, like the guys from Mastering Diabetes. They did their interview together, Cyrus and Robbie, and Team Sherzai, Dr. Aisha and Dr. Dean Sherzai, they did their interview together. So we're going to have 4 interviews a day, brand new. Now, some of the speakers aren't brand new, like Dr. Furman, Dr. Greger, Dr. McDougall, Dr. Barnard, but they did new interviews. They wanted to do brand new interviews. And we have a lot of speakers you haven't heard from because they're in academia, but they are fabulous. Who are the people being interviewed tomorrow? Oh, I'm glad you asked, Jan. Dr. Joel Furman, Dr. Susan Roberts, Dr. Vera Tarman, and Dr. Hans Deal. And we're thinking of throwing in an additional hour every day of a throwback from last year's summit. So I don't know who that would be, but those are the 4 new interviews. I'll just read you the whole lineup. Why the heck not? If you're on my mailing list, you probably got an email that said it. Day 2, which is Sunday, is Dr. Neil Barnard, Dr. Sylvia Tara, who wrote The Secret Life of Fat, my hero, Dr. Barbara Rolls, the mother of calorie density, Chef Katie May, who's going to teach you how to make lox and bagels. Day 3, Monday, February 10th, Cyrus and Robbie from Mastering Diabetes. And Vasanta Molina, a registered dietitian who writes books with Brenda Davis, who was in the summit last year. Dr. David Jenkins, who invented the glycemic index, yet says it's okay to eat potatoes. Tammy Kramer, who is the proprietor and founder of the blog and YouTube channel Nutmeg Notebook, and she is going to show her simple strategies, how she circumvented 40 years of yo-yo dieting and finally found freedom with food. Day 4, Tuesday, February 11th, we have Dr. Vivian Chen. You probably don't know her, but she's fabulous. She talks about how toxins cause weight gains. Angie Sadeghi, gastroenterologist, plant-based. She's going to talk about how the gut is the key to a better metabolism. Nikki Bravata, a nurse, who's going to talk about detox and when it can backfire. And these 3 ladies, by the way, are gorgeous. So that's one reason you might want to get the videos, because that's like Hottie Chick Day, day 4. And then Dr. Ron Weiss, who's not a hottie, but he's a wonderful guy. He's a farmer, and he is also a plant-based doctor in New Jersey. He's going to talk about how endocrine disruptors can cause weight gain and about what's happened with our soil. Day 5, Wednesday, February 12th, Dr. Judd Brewer, who wrote The Craving Mind, Dr. Rosanna Vieira, who's back, but this time she's going to talk about habit change, the science of behavior change, which is what she's passionate about. Dr. Howard Jacobson, talking about how you fix your weight loss mindset, and Florence Christopher, who runs a summit that I've been on many times. Ooh, Meg Donahue is online, and she is giving the most wonderful prize for the summit. You have to live in the United States. I'm not sure if you can live in Alaska and Hawaii, but it's a week free Mama Says. If that's not a reason to watch the summit to get a week free Mama Says, Meg, your tomato sauce, your marinara sauce is the best. I wish you just sold it like in bulk in stores. Hey, okay. Somebody said Tammy Kramer is great. She is great. And let's see who else. Oh, Florence Christopher is going to talk about a 3-step method to kick sugar cravings to the curb that worked for her and many of her clients. Thursday, February 13th is day 8. That's Team Sherzai, the neurologist. And even if you're not overweight, you're going to want to watch that interview, because chances are you're going to get older one day. Judy's making cauliflower bisque. Yes, it does smell very good. Hey, Vicki. And they're going to talk if there's a link between being overweight and actually getting dementia. Then Dr. Roy Artal, who for years I was in LA, was my personal physician, quadruple board certified. He's a sleep specialist, and he's going to talk about whether or not having good sleep can affect your ability to lose weight. Dr. Rick Dina is going to give you the skinny on fat. Do we really need to eat nuts and seeds? Do we really have to for good health? He's going to shine a light on that. And then Chef Darshana Thacker, this year, instead of doing lectures, he's going to do a cooking demo. Easy, delicious recipes that'll help you lose weight. Day 7, Valentine's Day, we have John McDougall, and I love him so much because he's helped me so much, and he's going to talk about what the most important food group is for satiety. You can probably guess what it is if you know me. Stefan Gayanet, he is a doctor who wrote it's called The Hungry Brain. I think I'm getting all the books mixed up right now. Sorry about that. Why can I not remember the name of his book? But he's fabulous. The Craving Mind is Judd Brewer, The Hungry Brain, I think. All these books kind of are running together. Dr. Walt Willett, he is probably the most renowned person in nutrition. He's at Harvard. Dr. Greger was so excited that I was going to interview him. So was Dr. McDougall. They actually gave me the questions. Hey, Leslie, your cousin Thomas is donating 2 bottles of vinegar every single day of the summit. 2 bottles. How generous is that? I hooked up Leslie and her cousin Thomas. Because of me, these long lost cousins, because of a Facebook Live, are now reunited. He just visited your sister in Hawaii, by the way. Chef Bravo, who lost 50 pounds eating this way, is going to do cooking seductive flavors for weight loss. And day 8, which is the last day of the lectures of the summit, that's Sunday, February 15th, we have Dr. Greger. You cannot miss him. Jen Hawk, who works with Dr. Lyle at True North, they're writing a book together. She's going to talk about the role that trauma and personality play in weight loss. Dr. Pam Peek, who is so inspiring, the author of The Hunger Fix. And get your Kleenex out for the last interview, Josh Lajani, who went from 400 pounds to being on the cover of, I believe it was Runner's World magazine. And then day 9, which is Sunday the 16th, I'll do a wrap up and I'll do some kind of a lecture. So there you have it. That is our lineup, and I hope you'll join us. Every now and then I'm just going to keep putting the link here because I really want you guys to sign up. It's free, and please share it with your loved ones. You know, if you're not overweight, you've got to know somebody who is. They say at least 70% of the people are overweight. So it's not just about being overweight, though. It's about health, because believe it or not, the diet that these doctors want you to eat for your health is the same one that they want you to eat to lose weight. So it's not like we need more diet. Kay says Chef Bravo is so personable. He is, isn't he? Jen Hawk, you guys love the speakers. California, thank you guys. You guys are so nice and positive. So let me get to the questions. Anthea saying excited to hear Walt Willett. Yeah, that was really, I was very nervous at interviewing him. You know, but he's very, very nice. You know, he only gave me 20 minutes, but hey, it's a start, right? So Gregor only gave me 30. But here's the thing, Gregor talks so fast. 30 is enough sometimes, you know. You get a little dizzy interviewing Dr. Gregor because he's on the treadmill, but he is adorable. All right, so let's get started with the questions. So, you know, I work with John Pierre in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, so some of the questions are more for him. If I can give my feedback on them, I will, but if I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know. This is about, do we need more calories to build muscle? You know, my understanding is you build muscle in the gym, and you know, you build abs in the kitchen. So I'm not going to even touch that question because it's not my area of expertise. But this thing about needing more protein to build muscle, I don't, well, I'm not going to touch that. I have an opinion, but let John Peter answer that one. He's going to do a live stream, I believe, on the 16th. Brooke's question is about food. I find myself still thinking about food all the time. I'm 100% SOFA's free. SOFA, by the way, is an acronym for sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, and salt. If you want to be healthy and lose weight, get off the sofa, figuratively and literally. I'm still super excited to eat. And when I'm having my last meal of the day, despite being full, I feel sad that I'm going to have to stop eating until tomorrow. This makes me want to snack between meals, which I've stopped doing since January 1st, as well as closing the kitchen after 7 p.m. When I wake up, I'm fine and don't think too much about food until I'm hungry around noon. But once I start eating, food is all I can think about. Is this normal? Love you guys. So me, I'm the last person to say if something's normal, because I have a lot of idiosyncrasies and quirks that a lot of people would think are not normal. Normal is on a bell curve. And, you know, I'm going to say normal is what's normal for you. Now, I don't know if it's normal. This is more of a Dr. Lyle question. I would say it's not common, at least not something that has been commonly shared with me. So I don't know your history, Brooke, but most people that I know that are obsessed with food are lifelong dieters. They're people from a history of restricting, probably restricting and binging. And these are the people that I have worked with that are the most obsessed about food because they have such a long history of restricting. If you're watching live, maybe you can tell me if that is you or not. If it's not you, then I don't really know why you think about food so much. I would ask, what else do you do? You know, how else do you engage in life? I mean, food is supposed to be enjoyable. I know that personally, I never think about food until I'm hungry, and then it's like, think about food. But then when I'm full, I don't think about it anymore. You know, the other day we were playing pickleball with neighbors, and we were supposed to play for an hour, and the next thing you know, it's dark and 3.5 hours had passed by. I didn't think about food once. I didn't even think about water. And I actually was thirsty from playing pickleball for 3.5 hours. So the first thing I would ask is, tell me about your life before. Do you have a history of restriction, especially of starch? And are you restricting now? And what else have you got going on with your life? Because like, I find that when you're really engaged in life, food is not the number one thing you're thinking about. So, you know, have you ever done anything where you were in what you call that zone? Like for, you know, athletes get into it. I know that when I'm in a painting class, I mean, I could just, like, there could be an earthquake or something around me because I get so focused in what I'm doing. Do you have any activities in your life where you're not thinking about food? So that's what I would ask. But really, it's a Dr. Lyle question. There's 3 ways you can ask questions to Dr. Lyle. One is free, one has a fee, and one has a very modest fee. So the one with the fee is you have a session with him, esteemdynamics.com. It's really hard to get in. It's $75 for 30 minutes. It's so reasonable, but he is full almost all the time. his associate Jen Hawk is starting to get that way too. But it's not impossible to get a session. You just have to diligently go on his website every night until the next month or the next week opens up. He does a podcast every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time on iTunes, Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio, Spotify, and you can call in for free. As a matter of fact, they usually give priority to people that are holding on the line rather than the questions that have been submitted. And if you're a member of Feel Fabulous, my membership website, which you can join for 2 weeks for free, I can put a link for that if you like, but it's just basically feelfabulousover40.com/register. You can join for 2 weeks for free. He speaks the first Wednesday of the month, and you can ask him questions either submitted in advance or live. The one he did last Wednesday was phenomenal. There's 8 lectures of him in the member center now, things you guys have never heard, because he talks a little bit more, because these aren't going out to the general public. He can be a little bit more, what's the word, just, open, I guess, with what he says. So anyway, so that's what I would suggest, but I'd love to have more information from you so that to see if any of the things I suggested may be correct. Anne Marie says, is there any way to do a chopped salad other than using a food processor or other appliance? So I actually just use I don't know how to do a chopped salad without something. So in other words, I use that giant Holland bowl mill. If you go to my YouTube channel, I demonstrate it in a couple of videos, and I use something called a mezzaloon. What's the other one that's called from Alaska? Ulu would work, and that's how I do it. A food processor, you can do it, but you're going to have to do several batches. You're not going to be able to fit in pounds and pounds of greens and all that stuff in a food processor. You'll have to do it a little bit at a time. That certainly works. The only danger is if the food processor is a little bit wet, you can turn your greens into pesto, and if you over process, the same thing. So there are all kinds of tools now that I've seen on Facebook and on Amazon. They look like little pizza cutters, but they have multiple blades, and you kind of just roll them over the salad. So there's lots of things for $20 or less you can do. But chopped salads are great because you've taken this huge volume of food and reduced it. Now, normally we want to do the opposite, in terms of calorie density for satiety, but because it's so hard for people to eat large volumes of vegetables, chopping the salads makes this into this, and also makes it, I think, tastier because it's just, all homogeneous. Tammy Kramer on Nutmeg Notebook has lots of videos on how she chops her salad. But chopped salads are the bomb. If you ever go to a restaurant that orders a chopped salad, it's always $4 more because they're chopping it, and it does take a little effort, but it's really great. So yeah, I recommend just the Ulu. You might want to get the Holland bowl. I was chopping my salad in Tupperware for years, and it didn't ruin the bowl, but it does ruin the plane. So Chris is saying, I'm sorry if it could be a he or a she, Chris. I use large scissors to chop due to hand issues. And they also sell, I believe it's Pampered. I always get Pampered Chef and Tupperware mixed up, but Chris, they do have these scissors that have like multiple blades just for that, for hand chopping. So yeah. Or, you can buy things that are chopped. I know that we don't like to contribute to packaging, but it's really hard to buy things without having some kind of bag. I mean, you don't just go home from the store holding your cabbage and, do you? Well, maybe you do, but you can get things like cabbage and carrots and Brussels sprouts chopped finely already, broccoli sauce. So you can get things that are already chopped, even lettuce I've seen chopped, but just make sure you eat your salad. So Shauna is saying, do AJ and JP use a diffuser in their home with eucalyptus to help respiratory issues? If so, what brand do they use? Is it okay to use with pets around? So my understanding is that in general, you got to ask your veterinarian, but my understanding is essential. That old saying, the poison is in the dose. Your dog, I mean, unless it's one of those giant breeds, is much smaller than you. My dog's like 14 pounds. She's like I'm 8 times as big as her. And so anything that I would use on me, it's going to be much bigger on her, the dose, the effect. So I would ask your veterinarian, if you want a vegan veterinarian, Dr. Armighty May, her website is veganvet.net, I believe. But I've heard that essential oils are not good for dogs. And I'm not sure so much from the respiratory aspect, but not to put them on it. I know that there's all kinds of homeopathic things that people like Bach flower remedies that you put in water. There's a wonderful book by Sinai Suzuki with Armighty May about holistic veterinary care. But I would not use anything. I like to go to the experts. So even if somebody is quote an expert in essential oils, they didn't go to veterinary school. So I would go to your trusted vet to find out if it's safe to use essential oils around around pets. There's things that we don't think about as toxic to pets, but they are. Raisins, for example, onions, they can get hemolytic anemia or something with their liver. Like onions can be completely toxic to pets. And raisins, for example, we know chocolate for sure. What are those plants at Christmas called? Not chrysanthemums, poinsettias, so things like that. Now, Shannon says that her daughter sent me a post today with a list of dangerous essential oils for dogs. So that's really good to know. Now, so your question is, I do have a diffuser and I have it by my bed. And if I can't sleep, which is almost never now since moving to the desert, I will diffuse like one of those scents like lavender. And it's also this really pretty light that it's on a timer. When I did my 14 Days to Fabulous series, I showed this and it's just very pretty. But for when you're saying respiratory issues, what do you mean? Do you have a cold? Do you have asthma? Do you have emphysema? See, my feeling about essential oils is they're very nice, but they're not, I don't trust them to cure me. And I think they're like beautiful, like when you add them to your bath or put a drop of lavender on your pillow. And I think there's some nice uses, but I don't think of them as something you use instead of medication. So when you say respiratory issues, I'm an asthmatic. Interestingly enough, I've lived in the desert now 54 weeks and have not used my asthma inhaler once. So that kind of tells you how toxic LA is, because I had been on asthma medicine my whole life in inhalers. And Dr. Goldhammer predicted that if I moved to the desert, either here or Vegas, he didn't care, or Arizona, that my asthma would go away. And so far, and I don't even want to say this and jinx it, 54 weeks without being sick, not even a cold or flu or anything. There's that. So what I'm trying to say is when I have gotten sick in a respiratory manner, I've gone to a pulmonary doctor and got medicine. I would never use an essential oil in place of a medicine. That's me. I know there's people that like always use arnica and things like that. They'll use Breathe from doTERRA, but I'm somebody that tries to avoid doctors, but if I'm sick, I'm going to go to a doctor. I'm not going to go to somebody that's a specialist in essential oil, but that's just me. You can do what you want, but I take lung problems very seriously. It's not just an asthmatic, but we have lost 2 prominent vegans from asthma, 2 people that were young. One was 40 and one was not that much older, died from asthma. So that's why when you say respiratory issues, I want to know more about these respiratory issues. And I don't want people curing their respiratory issues with, with essential oils. I just don't think that's a good idea. So there's a question. Great Depression, did any of the summit speakers share information regarding hypothyroidism? Yes. Now let me see if I can remember which ones. You got to understand, I did 30, Phoenix is horrible. Well, I'm glad I didn't move there. 32 speakers. Which ones talked about thyroid? I don't know. I want to say it might have been Angie Sadeghi. I wish I could remember. And you know what, though? I'm going to be listening to the summit right along with you, Roz. We're to my knowledge, we're one of the only summits that actually delivers it live. In other words, what I mean is the sessions have been pre-recorded, but Toby and I are there listening to it with you. That's how we're awarding the prizes. So who else talked about thyroid? I know it came up. I know it did. Was it this? I'm so sorry. Maybe it was Dr. Bark. I don't know. It's kind of all becoming a blur right now. Come here from Portland. Well, do you live in Portland? Because I'm trying to get back to the Portland Veg Fest, and they're like saying, well, you already came. I was like 2 years ago. So I would love to come to Portland because Dr. McDougall and Heather are in Portland. Okay, moving on. Shauna says, your skin is beautiful. Do you use only organic face products? I don't use only organic anything. I mean, I always strive to do organic, but if I find something I like, then I use it. So I think that if my skin is beautiful, it's because now I completely avoid sun exposure on my face. I got scared when I came here a year ago and I had these brown spots on my face that were starting, because I always was a person that lived in the sun and never used sunscreen. Well, the sun in the desert is a different sun, and it's not just the temperature, it's like a hotter sun. And so I had like one of the spots burned off, and he actually ended up botching my face, and I'm trying to get it fixed now. But the thing is I don't let any sun on my face anymore, ever. I even have one of those hats that make me look like I'm wearing a burqa, where it covers everything, you know, you just have like your eyes out. So that's one thing. No sun. I let the sun still go on my body. Never, sun does not get on my face. The makeup that I use, that people, that why they tell me my skin looks good, it seems to be since I started using a vegan makeup called Becca, Becca Backlight Primer. That's what I'm thinking. And then I cannot underestimate the importance of all the vegetables I eat, particularly greens. I know that that is part of a very important beauty routine. So I don't really have a skincare routine, but you know, KALE Harwell makes excellent vegan products. And I have some of those when I remember to use them, but I'm not, I just, you know, like what these people, when I mean these people, what people that sell beauty products, they want you to do is they want you to wash your face and then scrub and then tone. I mean, like who has time for that, right? So, but I do like KALE Harwell's products. I love the smell of them, especially the soft as a peach cream. And there's a line out here called Body Deli, and they have this blueberry face scrub that just, it's like putting a smoothie on your face. But that's basically it. I do think it's what I eat though, because I hadn't eaten fruits and vegetables for the first, you know, 43 years of my life, but now that I eat so many fruits and vegetables, I know that that has really seemed to have made a difference. And if I missed questions, you know, type them again. This goes really fast. Every now and then I'm going to put in the link to register for the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit. Karen says, so excited. She's always inspired. Jennifer says, what can I do to help with the absorption of food? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I always recommend the doctors at True North. They do phone consults for less than $100. There's Dr. Peter Sultana. I can't think of the names of the other ones, Dr. Chilla Varesh. Free consult with Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, but definitely, you know, I believe that Dr. Clapper does consults. Dr. Angie Sadeghi, who is a gastroenterologist, does consults, and absorption of food sounds like it's a GI thing to me. Dr. Will B. So I would definitely have a consult with one of the fine plant-based doctors. Wendy says Dr. Barnard talks about thyroid issues. Yes. So then Wendy, he must be the one that talked about thyroid in the summit. Realize that some of these interviews were done as far back as last October, and that's why I can't remember all of them. And then some of them were done as recently as last Monday. So Cindy says, what is your opinion on nutritional yeast? I get that question a lot. And so my opinion is, if you're using a little bit now and then as a sprinkle, it's probably fine. If you're every day putting a cup of it on your salad or to make a cheese sauce and just eating mounds and mounds of it, it's probably not that good. You know, my feeling is Dr. Goldhammer has not been wrong about anything that I've heard from him yet, and he will not allow it at True North. He will not eat it. He says it is a highly processed food. It is a highly caloric food. It is a concentrated source of protein. So he's not a fan of it, especially for people with GI issues like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. On the other hand, Dr. Greger in his new book says we're supposed to eat it every day. So who do you listen to? I don't know. I do find that people that like it tend to like it a lot and want to put it on everything, from their air pop popcorn to their salads. I only have it in a couple of recipes in my book, and I make it optional. I know that from Dr. Furman, he says if you're going to use it, use an unfortified brand like Sari or KAL, but not one that's fortified with folic acid and what's the other thing? Folic acid, and I think it's B12. So coming off salt and sugar, like to know the kind of salad dressings I could use. I have cancer skin. I'm sorry, you have cancer. You can use, okay, so I have right here, it just so happens right on my table, I have 2 books. And they both have lots and lots of salad dressings in them. If you don't have my book and don't want to get it, did you know that you can go to any library in the United States and fill out a form and they have to get it for you? And that's the way it is. And how else can you get the recipes? Well, I got about 500 YouTube videos, but lots of plant-based salad dressings you can get everywhere. Jan is saying Nooch is hyper palatable. So I agree, Jan, because the people that like it just really defend it and want to use it, and they want to use a lot of it. I think it's good. You know, here's the other thing. If somebody says, I'm going to want to make a cheese with nutritional yeast and cashews, or I'm going to eat real cheese, I'm going to say eat the one that has nutritional yeast, good, better, best, right? Sherry says her skin is transformed for the better since she became vegans. And this is going really fast. Fermented foods, do I need them daily? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, unless you've got some, I know that a lot of cultures eat them. If you like them, you can eat them daily. Stephen gave up nooch, no biggie, a bit here and there. Same, that's how I feel about it, Stephen. But I do know, like, for me, you know, like when I eat certain foods, like my daily lunch of, you know, either Japanese or hana yams with broccoli, I'm eating it and it's really good. I'm like, this is good. This is good. This is good. But when I have something with nutritional yeast, like one of those cheese sauces, I'm like, this is good. And I don't like that feeling. So I do think there's some kind of psychoactive thing with nutritional yeast, at least for some people. But look, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. There's so many worse things. Heather's freaking excited about the summit life-changing info. Well, good. I'm so happy you're excited about that. Oh, Australia. Is there anything from Australia that I can? Dr. Doug Lyle is going to be speaking in Australia like very soon. So make sure you find out. Sandy Plewis, who's a blogger from Vegans Eat Yummy Food Too, knows where he's going to be. And Dr. Goldhammer is going to be in Australia too. So make sure you find out. Kim took her daughter to 4 dermatologists for her eczema induced by a dog bite. Nothing helped until I turned her vegan. Very good. Okay, so this is going really fast. Hi, Juanita, slow down. What are your thoughts regarding whole grains? I think they're fantastic. What is your thought about using millet or farro amaranth instead of brown rice? So I'm not a fan of gluten for people that have food addictions or weight to lose because of the link of, not the link, but the people that I've interviewed on food addiction say that just like when we eat cheese, milk, or yogurt, or ice cream, that casein, the dairy protein, turns to an opiate-like compound in our brain called casomorphine. When we eat gluten, even whole grain gluten like couscous or farro or trichotilley or spelt or freekeh, or camus, it turns to gluteomorphine in the brain. So I'm a fan of whole gluten-free grains. Millet's amazing, underused. Quinoa, teff, the amaranth, like you said, wild rice, soy, buckwheat. So yeah, big fan of whole grains. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss stuff here. Do you know what causes gallbladder stones? I do not know, but I do know that for some people, when they lose weight too quickly, they do have gallbladder issues. I have seen that happen so much. Okay, so let me go back to my questions here. And you know, you're asking if I use only organic face products. You know, I do try to use organic everything, even all the food, but I don't, it's not a deal breaker for me like it is some people, because think about it, you know, when I go to the cruise, when I go to speak on the cruise or teach in Mexico, not everything's 100% organic. So I do my best and bless the rest. That said, I mean, I do seek it out and prefer it, but I'm not one of the, and I know people like that, and there's nothing wrong if that's your belief, or like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat this because it's not organic. So, because I eat such a clean diet, I don't worry about it really that much. I eat lots of millet, just chuck it in a soup or whatever. A millet is an underused grain and it is delicious. Oat groats are great too, Jan. Yes, absolutely. What about potatoes? How often? Well, if you're me, every single day. Barbara's excited about the sun. Barbara, you're going to like the interview with Dr. Rick Dina, because I think he pretty much says the truth about, do you gotta eat flaxseed every day? So I eat potatoes every day, several pounds a day, and half of them is usually sweet potatoes. Okay, Shauna says, when it comes to eating all veggies every day, well, I don't want you to eat all veggies. I want you to eat starch and fruit. Do you ever eat the same ones over and over? I'm getting veggies in and love them, but I fall short on getting a variety in. I tend to eat the same things over and over. I just love my food now. Thank you again. I appreciate all you do more than words. So, you know, Dr. McDougall says we can live on sweet potatoes and broccoli. And I kind of do, because it's my favorite lunch. You know, I think it's probably good occasionally to eat something different. Like, I don't eat the exact same potato every day. I eat a Hana one day, a Japanese. Some days I'll eat a Stokes. I'll even eat the orange ones now and then. So I am switching it up a little bit that way. But I fall into what some people might think is a veggie rut, but it's not forever. Like, I remember at the very beginning when I was doing vegetables for breakfast, it's been over 8 years now. One of my favorite was the oven roasted ratatouille. And I would eat that every day. And it seemed like months and months. And then one day I'm like, I'm sick of this. And then I started eating zucchini, and it's like, I love this. And then months and months, now I'm sick of it. So now I'm air frying it, not sick of it anymore. And so then I'm doing, you know what I'm doing now? If you guys are, well, obviously some of you are subscribed to YouTube because I see this little red icon and that's where you're watching from, is the recipe that I posted on Wednesday. It's called Mediterranean Kale. I based it off a recipe that Sharon McRae was eating every day for breakfast. I swear it tastes like pizza. And so now I want that every day. You know, even before I was vegan, I tended to eat the same thing every day. There's people that are like that. And I think most people are more like that than they realize. People think, oh, the vegan diet, it's so boring and restrictive. But even when they're eating crap, they're not eating a different crap every single day. So I think, here's the thing. It's better to eat the same vegetable and starch every day than it is to eat a different item from McDonald's every day, right? So I don't know how much nutrient diversity is important, because from what I understand from some of the talks from Doug Lyle is any nutrients we aren't getting, we can recycle. So we don't have to really worry about nutrient density, things like that. I think we get so caught up in some of the minutia, we miss the big picture. Eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and avocado if you can afford them calorically and you're not a food addict, and no sugar, oil, salt if you're a food addict, and maybe a little sugar and salt if you're not. I wouldn't recommend anybody eat oil. Let's just make it simple. Drink 1 pound of spinach in smoothie for breakfast, 2 bananas and frozen. Again, Anthony, green smoothies are great. I don't recommend smoothies for people that are trying to lose weight, because liquid calories, you're going to learn from the summit speakers, liquid calories do not have the satiety. But if you're not overweight, there's nothing wrong with smoothies. You know, it's funny because I had to teach a class I tend to not eat unless I'm hungry. I almost never break that rule. But there was a situation where I was teaching a class at a very odd time, 5 to 7, which is dinner time. And I can't eat while I'm teaching a class. And I didn't want to eat late after the class. And so I'm driving to the class at 4 and I'm not really hungry. And I'm like, you know, I think I better have something. And I made a green smoothie and it helped me. So, you know, what's that? Linda Middlesworth. Linda Middlesworth, are there any openings for your event? Linda has an event a week from Sunday that I backed out of, and I'm a bad person because of my commitment to the summit. It's called Get Healthy Sacramento. But as I will reveal during this broadcast, Linda, I would have had to black out. That's part of my problem. And I'll explain it to you. I would have had to back out anyway because of I'm not allowed to fly right now. I am on the no-fly list, and I'll explain that in a minute. Are you tired of pizza? Yeah. Anthony, if you're overweight, you know, and how much are you overweight? Because here's the thing. When you blend your calories, and this is how I learned, because I was overweight and drinking smoothies every day, and they were much healthier than what I was eating every day, which was you know, Coke, or drinking every day, Coke Slurpee. Dr. Lyle told me that when I got home from True North, to put everything in my blender that I was going to make for the smoothie and put it in a bowl and eat it. And when I tried to do it, I couldn't finish. So, you know, with a smoothie, you have like this much volume of food, you're reducing the volume artificially, which makes it easier to overconsume, especially if there's like sweet fruit in your smoothie. So 40 pounds overweight, it's better to eat your food. I have a very good book for you to read if you want to know how to trim down a bit, or watch the summit for free tomorrow. Do I look fabulous, by the way? I feel kind of spacey today, and there is a reason. Every man, you are not coming. Well, when they find out the true reason now. Catherine says, is the summit the same time every day? So yes, it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So tomorrow, Saturday, to the following Saturday, the 15th, it'll go for about 5 hours, maybe a little longer with the prize giveaways. Sunday will be a short day. Okay. I see more people making smoothie bowls. I'm like, yeah, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with smoothies. It's just that when you chew your food, you increase satiety. That's just the way. You listen to Barbara Rolls' lecture, Liquid Calories. Don't know why. I didn't invent calorie density. Not favorable for satiety. Okay, why can't you fly? All right, I actually was saving this for later. Okay. You know what? I'm going to ask the question that was asked, and that I was going to tell you about this, because I just don't want people to think like that I'm drunk or something if I can't remember a word. So there's a question from Donna. Does Chef AJ miss us? And by miss us, she means for, let's see, it was 2015, 16, 17, almost 6 years straight. I was in the Facebook group, the Ultimate Weight Loss Facebook group with John Pierre. And I was on that group for, well, according to the thing on the phone where it averages your screen time, 4.5 hours a day, answering every single question and post by the members. And so the question is does Chef AJ miss us? And then when I heard that question, I thought, well, I miss the people. I don't really miss the people because I'm still interacting with them, especially if they join Feel Fabulous, because we do one of these every single week. But I don't miss living my life on a screen and just sitting in a chair or wherever answering that. And so I had a head injury. Thank God it was minor. And I didn't know it because one of the symptoms is I forget stuff now, which is why I'm glad I'm not coming to your conference, because I don't think I'd remember my lecture right now. I have what's called post-concussion or post-concussive syndrome. And basically what that means is I have a headache every day. And thank God it's not a migraine head. I mean, it's a headache and it's uncomfortable, but it's, because I had a friend named Kenny, some of you remember from Weight Loss Wednesday, who had a concussion and he suffered from this for years. There was a lady at True North that had to fast multiple times to get rid of it. Hers was from a car accident, but I did have some head trauma. And the funny thing was, is I forgot that I did, because that's one of the symptoms. And that's why it took a few days for me to get to the doctor. And when I finally got to the doctor, I was there because I was having visual disturbances. I couldn't look at light. And I had my husband change all the light bulbs because the light was hurting my eyes. And then I started getting dizzy. And then what happened is then I got the headaches. So I went to the eye doctor, but I forgot that I had got hit in the head because I remember the day that it happened. I teach yoga every Tuesday at 10 o'clock in my community. It's in my calendar. And I just didn't show up. And I got a text message, where are you? And I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm forgetting things and it's fine. But see, I'm not allowed to fly. I can't go on I had to back out of the cruise because not only can't I fly, I can't be on a boat. She said the boat would be even worse. I said, what if I could somehow drive to Florida? Then could I go on the cruise? And the doctor said, absolutely not, because the boat would be the worst thing for you right now. But she said that it could take 6 months for the headache to go away. She sent me to both a chiropractor and a acupuncturist, but in the desert, it's really hard to get medical appointments during season because they're all taken, but I'm fine. I have a headache and I have to limit what I can do. And one of the things is like no exercise, and that's going to be tough, or very little. But anyway, so that's why I can't fly. Now, I like to look at the bright side. I remember when I was 4 years old and my great grandmother got her leg cut off to diabetes. I said, well, look, she doesn't have to shave her leg anymore. So when I'm looking at the bright side of this whole thing, is I am excused from jury duty for an entire year. Brenda says, I haven't been able to log on to FFOF. Well, then we need you to write customer service, Toby, which is hello@betterlifesummits.com. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, it's cool. But anyway, so, Beth, the thing is even if I hadn't gotten off Facebook before intentionally, I wouldn't be able to do my job now there anyway, because I can't be on a screen. It's the worst thing is screen time. Okay. Oh, so Anthony has the book on process. So that is not quite as geared for weight loss as the newer book. So it's Ultimate Weight Loss. Yeah. Okay. So let's go on with the questions. Yeah. So eating the same thing every day, I don't think it's a problem. I mean, really, how many people, guys, do you know that are in the hospital for some kind of nutrient deficiency or DHA deficiency or omega-3 deficiency? It seems like all our problems are caused by excesses. Yeah, don't worry, it's okay. I really don't like when I have a boo-boo and tell people, because I don't want people feel bad for me. There's just, and I'm worried about the cruise now. There's somebody that I personally know that is on one of the ships, and she's quarantined in her room now for 14 days. That I would go nuts. She can't leave her room, Are we still having the retreat in May? Are you kidding, Anita? Absolutely. So, that's why when Donna said, do I miss you? I didn't feel like being on Facebook was that much of a connection with people. It's like when I do the classes or when we do the in-person conferences, that's where I really miss people, because that's where I get to know them. But absolutely, we have a wonderful conference May 15th to 17th in Palm Springs with some of the summit speakers, Dr. Columbus Batiste, Dr. Hans Deal, Dr. Steve Lewenda, Heather Goodwin, Tammy Kramer, me, Is there anybody else that I'm forgetting? Oh, how could I forget Dr. Doug Lyle, who also be in Florida. So yeah, that should be a good one. Okay, Sandy says, well, she says this is a very simple recipe question, so of course I don't know the answer. Chef AJ, have you used your Instant Pot to cook your cram muffins? What setting, please? I have not. You know who would know this? And she's wonderful, and she is going to be doing a thing for Feel Fabulous very soon. Kathy Hester. I have never cooked like a dessert in my pressure cooker, and I'm sorry. So what I would do is, you know how they have those free apps for both Melty and Instant Pot? I would just look up any muffin recipe, any carrot cake recipe, and do that, but do the same time. Okay. Jane says, loved your slow cooker caramelized onions. Can it be cooked on high for less hours? So it can, but they won't be like that. You know, people said, well, I'm just going to use my Instant Pot and I'm going to use the slow cooker setting. We tried that. It doesn't come out. I know nobody wants to have another appliance, but for that recipe, it's worth spending the $20 at Walmart to make those caramelized onions. Because if you do it fast, they're not going to get browned. And I find that see, this is been happening. The crock pot, the slow cooker function on the Instant Pot, it just doesn't work as well. So get the $20 not food processor, what's it called? Crock pot. Sorry about that. Jenny Thunderbuck. Yeah, she says it. Natalie says, are you going to be able to go to Florida for your birthday? Natalie, if I have to walk, there is no way I cannot back out of that. And by the way, by the time my birthday comes, we're talking 4 days, 6, 7, we're talking almost 2 more months of healing. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, too wet. Yes, still having the birthday celebration. Oh, so Angela says, I use my Instant Pot, cook on high pressure for 40 minutes. So if it works, it works. Very good. All right. Okay. So yeah, so try it. It didn't work for me, but maybe I should try it again. Can you provide an update when your dessert cookbook will be published? So you can still get it as an ebook right now on my website. And so it was supposed to come out Valentine's Day this year. And then I had the opportunity to write 100 new recipes, which is more of a challenge than an opportunity, for Glenn Mercer, who was my co-writer in my first 2 books. He also co-wrote The Mad Cowboy with Howard Lyman and No Marvel with Howard Lyman. And he helped me so much, I felt I wanted to help him. So that has been put on hold. So God, it would be great if it could come out by, another holiday where we make dessert. What would that be? Easter, Mother's Day. So I don't want to promise, because when I do that, then it always shoots me in the foot. Judy says, I have a 17-year-old male. A 17-year-old male, what? How do I get him to eat plant food instead of meat and chicken? Get him to watch Game Changers. That's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know how you can get a 17-year-old to do anything, to be quite honest, but get him to watch Game Changers, or, pay him. I don't know. It's really, really hard. Generally, there's one of 3 things people care about when they're going on a plant-based diet. They either care about their health, which when they're that young, it's hard to convince somebody unless they already have a disease like an autoimmune disease or maybe acne. If they care about the environment, you can show them Cowspiracy. If they care about the animals, you can show them Earthlings. If they care about their health, Forks Over Knives, but it's hard. Okay, yeah, there's always a replay, Melinda, so don't worry. Rick from All of a Sudden. Oh, you guys, if you live anywhere in the desert, and the neat thing about living in the desert is when I lived in LA, it could take 20 minutes just to go from my driveway to turn right to get on the freeway. You can literally get to one end of the desert, like if you lived or were going to Coachella, like in the city of Coachella, which is one town east of me, past Indio, all the way to Desert Hot Springs, 30 minutes, and there's never any traffic. So All of a Sudden is a store that sells olive oil and vinegar. We don't want to eat the oil if, especially if we got heart disease, but he's got just delicious flavored vinegars, and you can taste all of them. There's one location on Highway 111, and there's one in Palm Springs near where the street fair is. And I've taught 2 classes there, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, check it out. It's so good. My favorite flavor there, well, I probably have 2. I like the Neapolitan, which tastes like Italian dressing, so you don't have to use oil. And I really like the pomegranate quince. I think that's my new favorite. So when and where and how much is UWL live? So it's actually this year, it's called the Ultimate Feel Fabulous Experience. We're trying to kind of merge the two groups and make one happy family, kind of like the Brady Bunch. It is at the Renaissance Hotel in Palm Springs. It is a very beautiful hotel with the largest pool. It's May 15th through 17th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I believe that tickets are still $3.99, and that includes all your meals. But we don't do breakfast. Well, at least we're not doing usually we give you a couple of oatmeal cups that you can have in your room. But other than that, we have like the lunches and the dinners. Oh, thank you, Heidi. Okay, can you order my books from Amazon? Yeah, Chef AJ, absolutely. That's the cheapest place to do it. Is the Ultimate book available as an ebook? I don't think it's available as an ebook, but it's available as a Kindle, and it's like $7 or something like that. Okay, back to the questions. Okay. Heidi, who's watching, hello. Have you ever interviewed Dr. Stoll or any other plant-based doctors who do regenerative medicine? So I have. But that doesn't mean that the interview was about regenerative medicine. The only one that I really know that talked about like that PRP, or where you take your cells and put them somewhere else to heal, that was Dr. Andrew Bletcher from SCOE in Southern California. So that was an audio podcast I did with him. But I'm pretty sure that Dr. Stefan Esser, who is one of the speakers in the summit, a Harvard-educated doctor whose grandfather was Dr. Esser, the fasting Dr. Esser, he does that kind of medicine, because I follow him on Instagram. So follow Dr. Esser on Instagram, and you can see he talks about these procedures all the time. I have interviewed Dr. Stoll on the summit, but is he an osteopath? I'm not sure, because I know him as the plant-based doctor that runs the immersions. I don't know what he does orthopedically, other than he was an Olympic athlete. So I don't know if he does that. But the thing that's so great about the plant-based docs is they're accessible. They really are. And definitely, ask Dr. Esser on Instagram, but he's going to be at my birthday in Florida. As a matter of fact, he actually works in Florida. So sorry that I don't have more help for you on that. Oh, Anthony bought it on Kindle. Thank you. Okay, so what do I think about using coconut oil as a body moisturizer? I'm not triggered to eat it at all. Yeah, I think I've even heard Dr. Esselstyn says it's okay. Your skin is your largest organ. So yes, you do absorb it, but it's not like you're going to get heart disease from coconut oil. And it's very affordable, and it smells good. Here in the desert, it almost never solidifies. It's almost always liquid. So yeah, I think it's great. And you know what all else coconut oil is great for is taking off makeup. So that it's really not harsh at all for that. I've noticed that Unprocessed isn't available in the Apple ebook store. I will check on that. I don't know. I don't handle any of my business stuff. I gotta say, I feel like I should, because otherwise I don't want to end up like Willie Nelson. Remember when his accountant did all that? Wow. I'm Jim Porterfield listening with Linda. Wow, very nice. I thought you said listening from India. So that's another thing. My vision is blurred a little bit. Okay, so Jane, this would be a good question for JP, but I'm going to answer it from something that I actually learned on the summit. Is it better for cardiovascular fitness for me to do 15 minutes on the stair machine where I get really hot and sweaty, or 15 minutes running on a level track where I don't get so hot and sweaty? I promise to switch it up so I'm not doing the same thing every day. Who am I kidding? I adore routines and ruts, no promises. If you adore routines and ruts, then consider this diet will work for you, because then you can just eat the same thing every day and be slim. I wanted to read something that Dr. Lyle wrote. Don't know where it is, and I don't think I can leave now. But so I would do both. One of the things I learned from Team Sherzai is, at least when it comes to preventing Alzheimer's, is that the exercise you have to be sweaty. So, I take a 1 hour walk with Bailey every day, and I might get 5,000 steps, but that's not exercise. That's a stroll. That's a walk in the park. I still have to spin for an hour to sweat. So you got to do something that's going to sweat. And they talked about how it's the long muscles. It's how those leg muscles, those are the muscles you want big. For some reason that correlates with Alzheimer's prevention. So, Dr. Stoll does PRP and stem cells, but he can't consult with California folks. Yeah. But maybe Dr. Esser would consult with you, I mean, that's too bad. Oh, I wish I could find my Dr. Lyle notes. I don't know if I could find anybody to come help me. So yeah, I would do both, Jane, because what are they saying? 30 minutes every day is at least the Sherzai say. I just did 22 minutes up and down my stairs. Wow, with a 22-pound weight vest. That's a lot, because when I carry my dog, Bailey, who weighs, well, now she weighs 16 pounds. When I carry her in a chest pack or a backpack, I'm tired. Colleen says, how do you get back on plan when you're struggling? In the past, I feel like it's been much easier. Well, I would say the best way to get back on plan is to don't go off plan in the first place. But I know that's not realistic. I would say, think about how you got back on plan last time, first of all, because obviously you have. What did you do? But the other thing is I like to have a plan of what I'm going to do if I go back on plan. Like, I'm really into emergency preparedness. Like, I'm actually taking this 3-day class on purpose, March 6th, 7th, and 8th, called CERT. It's like some kind of it's an emergency preparedness training. And they're going to teach us everything. I went to like a little 1-hour lecture they had in my community where the guy just kind of talked about basic things we should do, like putting little things on our cabinets for earthquakes, which we now have, so that if, we have tile floors here in the desert. And so when all the dishes fall out of the cabinets, and you get out of bed without shoes, you think about things like that. So they kind of gave some little hints, and then it inspired me to want to take the class. And so I think that if you're prepared for an emergency, you're more likely to do well when that emergency happens. They say that people that are successful in any area are simply ones that execute the basics better than anyone else. And, think about it, like Army, they do drills, people that do sports, they don't just play the Super Bowl. There was a lot going on before they got to the Super Bowl where they're practicing. Basketball players, they'll sit there and practice the shot over and over, the golfer, the swing over and over. And so I think, this is one of the things we talk about in Mastery a lot, is where you have like a plan. What are you going to, you have, we have car insurance. And it doesn't mean you're never going to get in an accident, but it's nice to know that if you are, you're not responsible, whether you hit the person or they hit you, that you're going to be, your car is going to get fixed. If your body's messed up, it's going to be fixed. So a lot of people try to avoid having health insurance and car insurance. And I understand it's expensive, but for me, I'm always happy to pay that bill, because to me, it's a comfort knowing that if something's going to go wrong, I'm taken care of. I have a sister-in-law who either didn't believe in health insurance or couldn't afford it, and was in a very, very serious accident and ended up, in a state hospital. And they couldn't help. I mean, she's fine now, but with the kind of, they couldn't. When that happens, they do the basics for the emergency, but they don't do reconstructive surgery and fix you up. So for me, if you know what is your plan, like, okay, so when you're on plan, think about what you're going to do when you're off plan. Now, like my plan, Colleen, getting back on plan, Dr. Lyle says it was not easier in the past. This is a great thing from Angela, and I do remember him saying that. Dr. Lyle says it was not easier in the past. You just forgot how hard it was the last time you did it. And it's really hard, because once you dip your toe into the pleasure trap, you really get sucked in, and it takes a while to neuroadapt again for that whole natural food to taste good. So for me, like, I know that if I ever go off plan, I mean, I have already said, like I've already said to Dr. Goldhammer, if I ever, and I'm not talking about a slip where there was accidentally sugar in something, or, that I didn't know about. I'm talking about like a full on purpose. I knew I did it relapse. I mean, if I did it one time and then I got back on plan the next day, I wouldn't do this. But I said, if it ever happens, he promises me he will get me into True North, even if it's full, even if I have to stay at what's that hotel a half a mile away, the Flamingo. And, I have his phone number. I can text him. And so believe me, I don't want to be the one making that text, say, hi, Ellen, guess what happened, And, I think one of the things is that you live your life as best as you can to not go off track. And how solid are you in the program? That doesn't mean you're not going to go off track just because you are solid, but are you solid in your program? So solid. Do you have 100% clean environment? Number one, let's triage. What I do with people is I look at where they went off. Let's figure out where the train went off the track before we put it back on, because if the track isn't stable, we don't want to put the train back on a track if the track is not safe, right? So what is your environment like? That's the first thing I ask, because I really don't know anybody that has gone off in an unclean environment. I just haven't met that. I mean, if it's you, please mention it here, but I haven't met that person, you know? So yeah, Angela's saying best way to get back on plan is clean environment, no eating out. So you got to work your program really, really strong. You got to tighten up where the screws are loose. So number one is let's look at your environment. And your environment doesn't just include your food environment, it includes your social environment. Like Angela says, eating out. If I remember correctly, you go to Starbucks every day and you have something with soy milk, and soy milk has sugar in it, at least the one at Starbucks does the last time I checked. So the question is, were you ever really on plan? So, you know, I mean, this is something I could work with you on, you know, if you wanted to take, if you're in Feel Fabulous, maybe we could do a, what's it called? Sorry. Like, you know, the insult form. That's it. I have that's what I should have, is an insult form, the intake form. So I'm not drunk. I have a minor head injury. This is why I didn't want to do this, but okay. But so have a plan. In other words, whatever your plan is, have a plan. You know, like saying, like, if I go off track, you know, I'm gonna, you know, people like in Mastery, they text me, you know, I mean, and that we work together that way, but get stronger in your program and have a plan. You know, one of the things I tell people all the time is that when you're solid in your program and when you're on plan, make a video with your phone talking to yourself when you're having your strongest day and you're feeling proud of yourself and telling yourself how proud you are, how you feel. And you know, and then when you're tempted to go off plan, look at that. And then, you know, do you have your vision board? You know, do you have your heaviest picture on your phone and next to your sexiest picture, something that you can look at to remind you not to go off plan? And then when you get off plan, make another video talking to yourself about how bad you feel. So, you know, what I'd like to know what your environment is like, but you know, you need a few days of, yeah, Annie's saying potatoes and veggies only. I agree with that, Annie. Potatoes and veggies, or just starch and veggies. It can be winter squash, but too many people like, oh, I releft, so now it's just going to be only potatoes. Now it's just going to be only fruit and vegetables. No, you need the starch and you need the veggies. That really is the secret. But this is something we can, maybe if you're in FFOF, let me know, because this could be, we can do, or if you're in my 12-week course, we actually do this. We bring people on and we kind of go through the form together. But how do you get back on plan when you're struggling? One bite of kale at a time. So Dixie, this is the $1 million question that we're attempting to answer in the Truth About Weight Loss Summit, which is free for 9 days tomorrow. I just posted a link there. So Dixie says, why is maintaining weight loss harder than losing the weight? So, okay, the question is it harder? It's not harder if you do what you did to lose the weight. And I got to text Charles to see if I got to read you the quote from Dr. Lyle, because this is going to answer it. Hold on, do voice to text. Please bring me the paper with the Dr. Lyle notes. Thank you. Okay, all right. So all the experts talked about this in the summit, about that, you know, it's something like 98% of the people that lose weight through a great deal of hardship and deprivation and suffering gain it all back within 2 years. And the reason is because they're on a diet. They're not willing to change their lifestyle. Dr. Furman, who is our first speaker at 10 o'clock tomorrow, says if what you're doing isn't sustainable, it won't be perfect. It won't be permanent. And so what happens is people eat a certain way to lose weight because they're desperate to lose weight quickly. So generally what they do is some kind of calorie restriction. They'll go on a weighing and measuring program, Weight Watchers, counting calories, carbs, points, keto, where they're eliminating, or paleo, entire important food groups like carbohydrates, something that they can't do the rest of their life, or they're not willing to do for the rest of their life. And so they do this and they can lose weight. You can lose weight. Actually, here's the thing, you can lose weight very quickly on these programs. Whereas if you do the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, if you do what we suggest, you're going to lose weight very slowly. You're going to lose maybe 2 ounces of fat a day. You're maybe going to lose 2 pounds a month. It took me 27 months to lose 47 pounds. And most people aren't willing to do it for the long haul. So Dixie, I don't think it's so much that it's harder to maintain the weight. It's not any harder to maintain your weight loss. if you're willing to do what you did to lose the weight. Hey, Charles, Toby, hello? Oh, never mind. It's right here. Sorry. It's right here. Sorry, Charlie. Okay, so, but here's the thing. There is this, you don't have to take Bailey away. Oh, can we show her to the people? Can she come? Come here. Hold on, because Bailey has to go out. Come here. Come here. Okay, here you go. Look at this dog, you guys. Sorry, this broadcast is interrupted by this dog. I love you, Bailey. All right. She's the best one. If you guys watch my YouTubes, you'll notice that a lot of times she'll sneak on, right in the middle. It's just kind of funny. Okay, thank you, Zena. It's called live coaching. But Dixie, your question is a good one because this is going to be answered by Dr. Sylvia Tara, who wrote The Secret Life of Fat. It was touched upon last year by Dr. Rosanna Vieira and by Michelle McMacken. And they called this, I believe, metabolic disadvantage. Dr. Sylvia Tara calls it calorie penalty. So what that means is, let's say you're 5'5" and 125 pounds, right? And you need a certain amount of calories to maintain your weight. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for the great recipe you gave me this week for YouTube. All right, so let's say you weighed 175 pounds and you're 5'5" as well, and you lost 50 pounds and now, like this other person, weigh 125 pounds. Well, we don't know why this happens and we don't know how long it lasts. But the person that always weighed 125 pounds can eat a lot more calories, having never been overweight, than the person that lost weight to that weight. They need a lot fewer to maintain it. This is called a caloric penalty. It's not fair. We don't know how long it happens, but the person that knows the most about this is Dr. Rosanna Vieira, because that was the situation between her and her twin sister, who is an identical twin, who was 50 pounds heavier. And when they wear these little things on their body to see who burns the most calories, the fact that Rosanna was never overweight, they can do the same exercise, they can eat the same amount of food, and it's incredible. But that's one of the reasons it is harder for them to maintain the weight loss, because you need so many fewer calories. But also, I think, Dixie, part of it is because people are not eating the same way in the maintenance phase that they ate in the weight loss phase. And so if you understand this caloric penalty thing, you not only have to eat the same way, but you probably have to eat a little bit stricter. Okay, so, and most people aren't willing to do it for the long haul. So if you are in Feel Fabulous, please watch Wednesday night's broadcast with Dr. Lyle. And if you're not, just join for the 2 weeks free, just to listen to this broadcast and his other 7. That's fine if you want to leave right away. But, I can't make this stuff available because then it's not exclusive to the people that are paying the $12 a month. But basically what he said, okay, hold on, baby. Here, you want to read this to the people? The process of getting to the goal. No, he says, Dr. Lyle said, because this came up, our job is to find something that is stable, sustainable, excellent. That the process of getting to the goal is the same thing that will sustain it. So that's basically what Dr. Furman said about how if it's not sustainable, it won't be permanent. So if you don't like the way you're eating, if you hate what you're eating to lose weight, do you think you're going to be able to eat it after you lose weight? Absolutely not, because you're probably going to be less motivated than anyway. If you are motivated to lose weight because it's your daughter's wedding or your high school reunion, you'll probably eat steamed kale, but after that event is over, no. So you have to like what you're eating, and you have to eat the same thing. See, the other thing that happens is, look, if you want to eat nuts, eat nuts. And if you can lose weight eating nuts, eat nuts. Some people can't, but some people can. And then they continue to eat nuts after they've lost weight. But you can't go on a no added fat diet without nuts, seeds, and avocado and lose weight and then add them back in. I mean, you can, but everybody that does it gains weight. So you got to eat what you plan on eating later while you're losing weight, if you can lose weight eating it. Again, I always say do the least restrictive program you can do that will get you the results you want. But, this is the other problem, Dixie. I don't know if you saw Dr. Lyle, if you're in Feel Fabulous, what he said 2 weeks ago. And he's actually going to meet this gentleman. No, Christy, not only don't you have to be over 40 to be in Feel Fabulous, you don't even have to be female, even though you are. There are nice young dudes in this group. It's what we called it, but you can be any age. We have 20-year-old men in it, but we like the idea of feeling fabulous at every age. So he was talking about a patient he has in Australia that is eating by his own admission. And again, when people self-report, there are some times that people aren't 100% honest, unless they're keeping a food journal. Sometimes Dr. McDougall says that his mentor, Dr. Walter Kempner, used to say all dieters are liars, but by this gentleman's admission, he's eating a B+ to an A- diet, yet remains 30 pounds overweight. Now, Dr. Lau went into great detail about how genetics is the primary determinant of what we're going to weigh. I mean, our diet is too, but what he was trying to say is that if we all live together and they all ate the same food, there's still going to be people that are smaller and people that are bigger. Now, if all we ate was the food that we served at True North or at my house, whole natural food, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, no sugar, oil, salt, alcohol, or flour, no one would be overweight. It would be impossible. But there's still going to be a difference between how much people weigh. There's going to be people that are more slender, like Dr. Lyle and my husband, and there are people that are going to weigh 25 pounds more, eating the same food due to genetics. And he talked about because we evolved in an environment of scarcity. And so the people that survived when there was scarcity were the people with these sturdier genes. So that said, there are people that can eat like a B diet. So he talks about people he meets all the time at the McDougall program that were 40 pounds overweight because they were self-indulgent in just eating a lot of crap. They heard the gospel from Dr. McDougall, and they don't even necessarily eat a B+ diet. Maybe they eat a B- diet, but that was enough for them to not be overweight anymore. But there's people with very sturdy genes that if they don't go to the higher grade, they're still going to be very healthy, but they may be higher weight than they want to be. And this is the age-old problem, because the people that tend to follow me are the ones with the sturdy genes that can't eat the B diet and be very slender. And the only problem with doing an A diet for most people, or for many people, is it gets into that nasty ego trap, which if you don't understand what it is, listen to episode 161 of Beat Your Genes. I hope if I don't eat an A+ diet, I will gain weight, Angela. Yeah, so Angela, for me, I won't gain weight eating a lower diet, but I won't, I'll be thinking about food too much, because anytime that I get into the pleasure trap a little bit, like when I'm traveling and have to eat the food at the conference, and even though they claim it doesn't have sugar and oil, it has salt, I just get too interested and excited about food. So I could probably eat a B+ and still be thin, but I wouldn't feel good in my brain. Boo genetics. Yeah, tell me about it. Sharon, I made your Mexican kale recipe yesterday, motivated by Chef AJ's. She doesn't like artichokes. Well, very good. Yeah, Sharon has a lot of great recipes. Okay, so I still have a few more questions. Yes, Christy, sign up for Feel Fabulous. If you don't like it, leave in 2 weeks, but only sign up if you have the 2 weeks to spend, because you got to watch the 8 Dr. Lyle videos and the Dr. McDougall one and the Dr. Goldhammer one, at least. What about tofu? What about tofu? Well, being allergic to soy, it's not a problem for me, but it's very high in fat. So even though soy is to the left of the red line, it's very high in fat. Even the edamame, it's over 50% of the calories from fat. So if you're trying to lose weight, I recommend just a little bit or don't eat it at all. Tofu you could make in your own kitchen. That's my rule. If you can't make it in your own kitchen, don't eat it. It's not that easy to make, but you can. But it's really high in fat. And anything that you're going to do with tofu, I can do with cauliflower or beans in a recipe pretty much. But I get it. I mean, it tastes really good when it's, baked or cubed or whatever, but it is very, very high in fat. That said, it's better than eating a Beyond Burger. So that's cool. What are your non-food methods for dealing with stress? I got one right here. Puppies. Puppies. Is the best stress reliever right here. They should name her Xanax. Yeah, stress and puppies and exercise. And you can combine them by actually walking your dog and getting a puppy fix and exercise at the same time. Hold on. B+ to A-. Yeah, that's what he was eating. So I'm going to have to get off soon, because what happens after a while, the lights just in my head just kind of explodes. I'm eating a B diet and not losing. So Christy, if an A+ is going to get you in the ego trap, don't do it. So maybe go from a B to a B+ before you go to an A+. Go from a B to a B+, and then maybe to an A-, and then to an A, and then to an A+. Okay, is there such a thing as a Plato on an A? What's a Plato? I don't know what a Plato means. A Plato on it. An A+ diet would be Dr. Goldhammer. I don't even think I'm an A+ because, I still have one thing with salt in it because I'm cheap and lazy. I don't have the, I know I can make my own milk. I do it all the time, but it doesn't last as long as the one in the carton. So I still use, and I don't use a lot of it, but if I'm having tea, I do put a splash of it in. Beyond Burgers are not good for us. No, I don't think so, Valerie. They're very processed. They're not good at all. What is the B diet? No, B, we're talking about like on a scale, like, I'm trying to think which lecture Dr. Lau does this. Is it the perfect personality or getting along without going along? So an F diet, no, we're not talking about blood type. An F diet would be like the standard American diet, but where somebody's literally eating every meal at McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken, fried foods, animal products, drinking a lot of alcohol. So Dr. Lau rates these foods. So an A+ diet or an A diet would be Dr. Goldhammer's diet, whole natural food, no sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt. So a B diet is probably a lot of whole natural food, but maybe eating out of some restaurant food and having some sugar and salt and maybe having some Ezekiel bread with almond butter. So B doesn't mean unhealthy. It just means too rich for the genes of that individual. Do I eat flax or chia seeds at all? Absolutely not. So I cannot stand flax seeds. To me, they're like when you go into a barn, what's on the floor. But I do have, I think, 2 recipes, my pumpkin raisin muffins and my apple pie squares, which I hardly make. They call for a couple tablespoons. I don't eat chia seeds, but I have a couple of recipes with them, the barefoot dressing, the chia jam, oh, and my new one, the lemon poppy seed dressing. So, but it's like a tablespoon for like a whole thing, but nope, I don't use them. Okay. Can I stop losing weight on an A+ diet knowing that? I think it would be very hard to stop losing weight on an A+ diet. I think it would, especially if it was a low fat A+ diet. See, it depends what you think of an A+ diet, when I think of an A+ diet. If you're eating a lot of high fat plant foods like avocados and tahini and, nut butters, then if that's your A+, I would say no. I lost 58 pounds. Oh, Lori, are you the girl, the pretty blonde girl? I'm not sure, because if so, I just accidentally found you on Facebook. Are you the pretty blonde girl that looks like the actress Naomi Watts? There's this very pretty girl I found on Facebook, on YouTube. It just like it popped up, and she mentioned my name. So I lost 58 pounds because of Chef AJ. I'm still in shock. I still think I'm going to gain the weight, but the weight isn't creeping up. Yeah, I think it takes about 4 years after you lose your weight, if you've maintained it, to finally calm down to think you're not gonna. Can you suggest a no-fat dressing suitable for coleslaw? Yeah, so look on my YouTube page. I think that my the honey mustard dressing would be good, and the lemon poppy seed would be good. I just bought a weighted hula hoop. I can't do a hula hoop at all. Sofa's free, sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt. Where do you get your omega-3? Well, where do I get it? I get it from greens, and I'm telling you, here's the link to the summit that airs tomorrow. Watch Rick Dina, and he will tell you, you don't need to eat nuts and seeds, not even flax and chia. You do not, and you will still, if you're eating enough vegetables like I am, if you're not willing to eat greens every day, then you probably do have to have flax and chia. So, and there's nothing wrong with having it as an insurance policy, but I don't like that people are being scared into thinking that they have to have it. You're right, Pam, leafy greens have plenty of omega-3s. Are you looking forward to Dylan's new salad dressings? Yes, he's supposed to send me some so I can shoot a video. I cannot wait. Okay, this is the last question that's been submitted, and then let's see if any more came in before, and then I will just check really quick if there's anything here. Okay, oops, got this. I have a question for you guys, techie question. Here's the last one. Traveling for a work conference, what can I do to stay on track? I don't want to draw attention to myself. So again, the more information you can give me when you ask these questions, like where the conference is, how many meals the conference is, I can help you better. But, you know, I've done conferences. I've been at conferences that have nothing to do with plant-based. Like I've taken conferences, like I'll take conferences for business or conferences for public speaking. And I have found it actually can be actually a lot easier than going to somebody's house for dinner, because most of the time conferences are like at a hotel and the meal's already planned. And it's probably something I can't eat anyway. So I bring my own food. Nobody seems to get offended because the chef's not coming out, and you know, the waiter's not going to get offended because you're not even tipping him anyway because it's part of a conference. So I've had some of the best luck at conferences without calling attention to myself, because nobody really seems to care. And I always end up at the table with the people that they may not be on the same diet as me, but I always seem to find the kindred spirits of the ones that are eating their own food. So to not call attention to yourself, well, one way to do it is to not eat with the people. You know, just say like, oh, you know, I don't know, I'm making this up because I don't know all your circumstances, but let's say you have a kid say, oh, wow, you know, I've got to take care of something for my kid's school. Go to your room for 15 minutes, eat, and then just sit there and have tea, and then say, you know what, I'm full. I mean, it just, you can only do this according to your personality. This is what I'm learning from Dr. Lyle. And there's a great book he wrote called The Pleasure Trap. And there's a great chapter in that book called Getting Along Without Going Along. And you have to do what's comfortable for you. You don't want to call attention to yourself. I would imagine that's only at meals, right? Because what else would call attention to yourself? You know, but here's the other thing. If you're very overweight, you are calling attention to yourself, right? And so when you eat in this way and become non-overweight, you might be calling a different type of attention to yourself. But you know, that then stay home. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is difficult. Very few people are going to do this. I can tell you that right now. It's going to take a very, very highly motivated, highly conscientious person to not only want to do this, but to keep doing this. And I just would remind you to think about what your why is. You know, Dr. Oliveira talks about the why that makes you cry. As far as calling attention to yourself, I don't know how not to call attention to yourself if you're doing something different, unless you have some scripts planned. And this is one of the benefits is like, if you work with Dr. Lyle, like I do, like he can really help you with situations like in Feel Fabulous on Wednesday. One of the ladies had a question, it was about religion and how to talk to her family that had these certain religious beliefs. And he gives you scripts, if you will, so that you can feel comfortable in keeping to your own ideas and plan without offending other people. See me, I don't mind offending other people. I mean, not on purpose, but you see, I'm not going to compromise my values, my beliefs, my ethics for somebody else's convenience. You know, I've been vegan for 43 years. I'm not going to eat animal products no matter what. And I don't care how inconvenient that is for you or what you think, but I have a different kind of personality. You know, I have more of a disagreeable personality. So traveling to work for a conference, what can you do? Stay on track, eat a lot of starch. You know, what you could do is, I have this thing called a clean canteen, and it looks like just a water bottle, but it's actually insulated for hot. Things like blended soup where you're getting starch. You know, I don't know, tell people that you're, you know, I don't know, you're fasting for, I don't know. See, this is why when you're in Feel Fabulous, when we can do these more targeted intakes, because I need more information than that. But if you're in the 12-week class, this is coming up in 2 weeks, this topic about traveling. Yeah, 43 years on September 1st. Yeah, Judy says it ends up being about the why. Tell them you're not a short order cook. They eat what you feed them. Okay, let's see. I think I saw a question. Florence says, thanks for the talk, Ree. And Dr. McDougall says that he orders them to eat that way. Yeah, you know, that's a great one, Beth. So you can tell them that, you know, Dr. Lyle says, well, I don't know if I'm right. I read a book. You could just say, look, you know, I have this serious condition and I have to eat this way, doctor's order. What's your serious condition? You know, I'm not really comfortable talking about it right now. Whatever. I mean, I don't know. Go in the corner and just eat by yourself. It's just, don't call attention to yourself. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. How do you get your kids to switch plant-based? Well, one of the things I would do is join Sharon McRae's Facebook group. It's called Disease Proof Your Child. And there's lots of parents in there with lots of great ideas. I would read a book like Dr. Furman's Disease Proof Your Child or Fast Food Genocide. Leslie says, what about the depleted soils that lack nutrients? Well, have I got an answer for you right here. Sign up for the Truth About Weight Loss Summit, and Dr. Ron Weiss, who is the farmer, is going to tell you. Yeah, food sensitivities, food allergies is a good one. You're kosher. I don't know. Jane from Ohio, love you, AJ. Thank you. Let's see. Should I have an email in my inbox for Phil Fabulous? I don't know the tech side of anything. Give some people something to talk about. Okay, let's see. Am I missing anything? I eat a pound of Brussels sprouts in the morning. I went through the Brussels sprout phase. First steam, then roasted with Dijon mustard and what's that called? Balsamic vinegar. So I'm getting a little tired in my brain. I think I have to go. Uh-oh, look who's kissing me. She's cute, isn't she? Hey, so listen, make sure that you're not just following me on Facebook or YouTube. You got to sign up for my mailing list at either eatunprocessed.com or Chef AJ website, because the thing that I did today, these 7 recipes for forks over knives, yeah, you can watch it on YouTube for free, but it's not, you're never gonna have to pay for this. But what I'm saying is if you're on my mailing list, then we send you the recipes in a PDF. We can't give you a PDF on YouTube. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know how to do that though. So I would definitely, I'm gonna put you down, Bailey, because you're starting to get heavy. I would definitely sign up for my mailing list. Come to the conference in May, the one in whatever month. Zena, if you're still here, any other questions? Okay. Anyway, if I miss something, you know, I'll do this again. I'll do this once a month, and I do it every week in FFOF. And yes, Beyond Burgers are not good for you. So that's that. Hi, Missy. I think you wanted some laser coaching. That was the word I couldn't think of. Oh, what kind of dog is Bailey? Everybody thinks she's a Schnauzer. According to the shelter, she's a Havanoodle, Havanese, and Poodle. Okay. Let's see. I'm scrolling the other way. Yes, Bailey is so cute. I think I missed a comment for you, Colleen, that it was harder for you to stay on track because you were volunteering. So what kind of volunteer work are you doing that's making it so easy to go off plan? Do I have any recommendations for bloating, constipation for somebody doing potatoes? Yeah, so plenty of veggies. So my question is how many raw veggies are you eating? Because I think the best thing for constipation, oh, and by the way, these comments are time limited. So in other words, I'm only allowed to scroll a little bit. So if I missed it, I can't get back to it. So yes, you got to have raw salad, especially with things like raw shredded beets, raw shredded carrots, and raw shredded cabbage. Got to have that for constipation. But for bloating, chew your food really well. It could be that you're not used to that much fiber. And if worse comes to worse, consultation with one of the plant-based gastroenterologists. I saw something about Starbucks, but it went away. Kathy Burrows, is this the Kathy Burrows? If it's in your house, it's in your mouth. Is that the Kathy Burrows, the blonde bombshell from Burbank, California, who's single, by the way? Just found out my blood sugar was extremely through the roof. What do you think? A plant-based diet? Yeah, absolutely. A plant-based diet will correct this. Go to True North, go to Fasting Escape, and you can correct it very, very quickly. Angela of South Beach. Hey, are you gonna, oh, she reversed her thyroid disease. Are you gonna be at my birthday party in Florida? Because guys, you don't have to stay overnight at the Wyndham, which is a really beautiful but expensive hotel. They have day passes. This will be in Deerfield Beach. Our cleanse is good to do. So Donnie asks, not if you're going to go back to eating what you're going to do. You know, you want to live your life in a manner that you don't have to go on a cleanse. It's sort of like, you know, I always thought it was unusual or weird. You know, I'm Jewish, and once a year you have this holiday called Yom Kippur where you repent, you know, for all the sins that you committed all year. And I'm thinking to myself, even when I'm little, I'm going to, like, you know, parochial school, thinking, well, why don't we just like not sin all year, and then we don't have to have a day where we apologize for it. So if you have to cleanse, then you're, you know, not to say that you shouldn't do a therapeutic medically supervised water fast that some people just do as part of just their life. But if you got to do a cleanse, that tells me you're not eating good. Why not just eat good so you don't have to cleanse? But if a cleanse is going to get your palate sensitive enough to stick to a healthy diet, maybe it's good, but it depends on the cleanse, because these crazy ones, like I think it's called the master cleanse, where you're having maple syrup. That's not a cleanse. You're eating sugar. You know, if you want to do green juices for a day or two, or just eat some watermelon to get your palate, off all the crap, that's fine. But I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of what you're doing all the time, not what you're doing some of the time. Sjögren syndrome. Okay. Have you heard of the vegan bundle? Somebody asked me about it. Should they buy it? It was $50. I don't know anything about it. I don't, so I can't comment. Good evening to you too. Hey, Kathy and Pam. I know all you people. Go rest your head. Yeah. I get a little punch drunk. So I think that's it. The meal doesn't comply with my plans at this time. I like that. Absolutely. Again, going back to the question about traveling, you don't have to say, listen, why would I want to eat that crap and be fat and sick like you? That's a quote from Dr. Goldhammer. But there are ways to construct, just like I said to Colleen, that how to get back on plan is that when you're on plan, think about what you're going to do. Should you go off plan? These are things you gotta figure out before you're in the deer in the headlights situation, what you're going to do. But more people are concerned about what you're thinking about them than what they're really thinking about you. So I would realize that I don't think that depending on what kind of work conference it is, I don't know, what your work environment is. Dopamine impairment disorder, right? Dopamine deficient disorder. No more questions, Zena's saying. So, do you eat a lot of beans? I eat no beans. I stopped eating beans when I got sick with SIBO in, when was it? 2014 of October. I cannot tolerate any legumes. Doctor told me hawthorn berry extract will lower your blood pressure. I have no idea what it is, but also not eating salt and doing a water fast and eating SOS free will also do it. Any advice to lessen acid reflux? Well, one of the things they do is they put your bed up on bricks. But I'll tell you, when my husband went on this way of eating from regular vegan, no oil, no processed food, his reflux went away. So are you eating any oil, any restaurant food, any processed food? Zena's saying put a link for Feel Fabulous. Fabulous over 40.com/register if you want to check it out, free for 2 weeks. There you go. I hope to see you guys all on the summit tomorrow, because we have a lot of great prizes, including a week of Mama Says, four forks over knives meal plan, best starch next to potato for weight loss. I think any starch, I don't think it, I know potatoes get popularized and people eat nothing but potatoes. Listen, Dr. Walter Kempner gave his diabetic patients nothing but white rice, sugar, and fruit juice, and they got leaner than you can imagine, reverse their diabetes. So there's nothing magical about the potato. All starch is great. If you're going by calorie density, the winter squashes have 200 calories a pound, so technically they're the lowest. You could eat a whole kabocha squash, but beans are excellent to eat. They're a resistant starch. I just can't eat them. Yeah, Angela's saying, Angela James, like me, AJ, that it doesn't, it's, I just say, yeah, allergic is always really good. All right, I gotta go. I don't know how to stop this though. She does include a weight loss book if you buy it through her link. Replying to Colleen. Okay, so all right, that's enough, you guys, because I don't want you to get sick of me. The answer about gallbladder stones, lost 40 pounds in a year. Everybody that I know that had gallbladder problems, really just like that, were people that lost weight very, very quickly. Why starch for diet? Alice, I think I've been on for 90 minutes. I think you're going to have to either read my book or read Dr. McDougall's book, The Starch Solution, or just go to YouTube and put in starch solution, because starch is what makes you thin. Fat is what makes you fat. And I know some people will disagree with that, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So it's been an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow so you can win one of the 100 prizes on the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit. And please share it with your friends. We kick off the day with Dr. Joel Furman. All right, see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. sharp Pacific time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern time. Bye, everybody.